Welcome to Digital Asset News. Take a top stories in crypto and bring them out of bite-sized pieces. Today, it's a pretty good day if you're a Cardano holder or looking to get into Cardano. First, we're going to talk about a little snippet where we talk about the world health and how it all disseminates throughout the entire globe. We're going to take a look at the Cardano Virtual Summit and what has been the announcements thus far. We're going to talk about 20 million new customers coming into Cardano. And lastly, we're going to take a look at the digital ID program or platform, Atala Prism. So let's just jump right in, shall we? And just take a look at what's going on in the market. So today it is Sunday. And of course, Sundays, usually pretty good days. Mondays are pretty much the big dips. And here we have $1.93 trillion. So we're below 2 trillion, hoping to get back there, but I don't see that happening. Again, September's a pretty bumpy month. So just strap in because if you like dips, you're going to love September. Bitcoin price is 43,000. And then everything that's been going on as far as like Cardano and all the different announcements, all the great news, Cardano is down a whopping 5%. Well, that makes no sense, but so does the entire market. Ethereum is up, though, 5.67% for whatever reason. And that is Ethereum, that is Bitcoin. Although I will say this, Ethereum, the actual reserves on the exchanges has been going down precipitously. I mean, it's really just dropping like crazy. Ethereum, the actual token or the cryptocurrency just being wiped away. And there is so much demand thanks to NFTs, thanks to DeFi, that I think Ethereum's going to go up at some point pretty quickly. Everything is down. Binance coin, XRP is up a little bit. Yay. Uniswap is up 25%. And then also, I think Aave is also up. And another one, not Quant, but Huobi is down. And what's going on is that I think it's Huobi. It's the one of the exchanges that said that they are going to phase out all Chinese traders. And so all the Chinese traders said, okay, well, fine. Well, we know it's illegal because that's what the government says. What we're going to do is just going to put all our money into DEXs and start trading that way because people want to be into cryptocurrency and they're going to find a way if you give them away. And that's why Uniswap is up, Aave is up, and pancakeswap, I think, is up a little bit somewhere. And all the different swaps are up a little bit, or if not flat, as opposed to being negative. So that's what's going on in the market in a nutshell. Let's take a look at a couple of things. First, what I want to talk about real quick is getting scammed. And this was brought to my attention this morning. And it was from Erna. And she says, please forgive me if I'm writing in a wrong place, but it seems I've just lost my ETH. The Telegram is the official arbitrage channel. Is this Dan's true channel? It's fake. And I said, hey, this is fake. And I said, you've lost everything, or you've lost whatever you sent over there. I said, how much did you lose? She said, I lost 1.15 ETH. 1.15 ETH. Okay. That's pretty ridiculous. That's a good $3,000 down the tube just because of a scammer. So I took a look, and this was something that I had already confronted this scammer on August, and I used some pretty choice words. And if you're not an adult, well, you shouldn't be on this channel because this channel isn't made for kids. And that's what I said. And not too happy about that. And what I had to do was I had to go to Telegram, their anti-scam at Note to Scam, and I reported this person, and their handle on Telegram is at Digital Asset News Trades. Let me blow that up so you can see that. Let me put this down, there we go, at Digital Asset News Trade. So if you're on Telegram and you want to disrupt somebody's life, go over there to at Digital Asset News Trades, because that is a scammer, as a person who maliciously takes money from our community for their own personal gains. And I would like you to reach out to them and tell them what you think, and also to report them to anti-scam. Whatever you want to do. Anyhow, that's that piece. Let's go to break into our top story. So as far as I just want to start with this world wealth. And we take a look at the actual wealth in the entire globe. It's pretty centralized on the top. I gotta admit. And this was from Vox. And if you're looking at people that make over $1 million or net worth over $1 million, they hold $142 trillion as far as the wealth, and that is 44.8% of the entire wealth in the globe is by millionaires. Billionaires has a higher concentration, but not as much, and that is just 1% essentially, of the population. Now, if you make 100,000 to 1 million in the globe, you're carrying around 124 trillion, which is about 40%, 39% of the global population. If you make 10,000 to 100,000, as far as your net worth, you hold 44 trillion, and you're about 14%. And then down here, which is the most amount of people as far as the population, 63%, which make less than $10,000 in as far as net worth, hold only $6.2 trillion. Now, why did I bring this to your attention? Well, I brought this to your attention because Cardano is working pretty much with this entire pyramid. They haven't just left out the people down here. They definitely haven't left out the people up here, because I think that's some of you that are watching this channel right now. And they're kind of going for everything. And this is what I'm talking about. This was a tweet. This was from Alexandra Huck. If you haven't followed her, she's big into crypto and most notably Cardano. And she just lays out like this. This is what's been going on in the summit itself. Dish, or digital IDs on Boost's mobile network. And of course, for this one, just so you know, this one, it's got, as far as like Dish network, I know some people say, who uses Dish? I use Dish. A lot of people use Dish. And it's about 10 million people throughout as far as like customers. And then Boost Mobile, well, who uses Boost Mobile? About 9 million people. So it's, I mean, really, if you add them together, it's almost 19, 20 million new customers, depending on which data points that you look at. She talks about also that was announced Chainlink. There's an integration, oracles for real-time market data. And those are the two big things. But then there's like some things that get overlooked, like Rival Esports, agnostic NFT marketplace, fan rewards, and then Account, I think it's how you say it, Account fraud prevention, and then Cody and Ardana, stablecoin, crypto to fiat payments. And I think, of course, this one, I couldn't really verify the Cody and Adrana. I think that's true. But this one here, Account, fraud prevention. This one, it is pretty big. And I'm going to get to that in a second. But first, I want to talk about how the Dish, as far as like with digital IDs on Boost, just so you know, Dish Network, again, I am one of those customers. And just so you know, Dish and Amazon Web Service form a strategic collaboration to reinvent 5G connectivity innovation. Why was Dish deal with that? Because they took over Boost Mobile, and they're going to work with Amazon now, and they're going to partner up. They're going to do all these great innovation projects. And guess what they partnered up with as well? Cardano. So when we take a look at and we put these pieces together, this could be something pretty darn big. On top of the fact, this one, Account, as far as she says fraud prevention, and it is, but it's also this. Account is privacy progressed. Account's trust identity platform puts the power of identity in your hands for verification. And this right here, AML and KYC, anti-money laundering and KYC, know your customers. Why would this be so important right now? Well, as you can see, Super Gary Gensler over at the SEC is trying to crack down on securities, and he believes that there should be more things being done by the SEC as far as regulation, and he really wants to put a clamp down. Well, if you kind of do that for him and go, okay, Gary, here's what we're going to do, AML and KYC, that's a good step in the right direction, just to put yourself out of the crosshairs. Just like, look, man, if you want that, we already did it, and here it is. You didn't have to ask for it. We did it for you. So when I take a look at this, I go, Account, that's a pretty good step as far as prevention. So that's what's going on. And then I just want to just give you a quick snippet about what's coming up. Just take a listen to this quick 45-second video or so.
Welcome back to day 2 of the Cardano Summit 2021. Now, we had an amazing day yesterday with announcements from Dish and Boost Mobile, bringing millions of their customers into the Cardano ecosystem. And we heard from Chainlink, Aquant, Veritree, Rival Esports, Straits Brands, and Atala Scan, plus a new $6 million Africa fund to boost development in the region. We just kicked things off here with another groundbreaking announcement, an exciting new partnership with Oasis Pro to create a platform to help developing nations access overseas capital and bridge the investment gap. Later today, we'll learn more about Cardano certification, working with industry experts on new standards for the DeFi ecosystem. We'll also announce a new industry-leading strategic alliance, so stay tuned for that.
I don't know what that is, but it sounds good. So as soon as I figure out what they're talking about as far as that strategic alliance, I will let everybody know. But on top of that, I just want to make mention of this snippet, this video that was put out. This was Charles and the folks from Dish and from Boost Mobile, and they went over, really it's 4 things about the different partnership between Dish and Boost Mobile and Cardano and how those all came about. So the first thing I want to talk about is we're going to have Cardano, or ADA, talk about pretty much how things are moving and progressing, interoperability. And when you listen to this, just think about the things that actually could be. I think it's important to get the vision first.
Yeah, from my standpoint, from a commercial perspective, I find Metcalfe's law comes into play here. So we've got a big network, which is the telecom network. We've got the blockchain network. And as we know, the value of a network is the square of the users of the connections. So it just makes sense that networks work together. That's kind of from my perspective. And we see it in the market, that we see this push towards networks working together. Interoperability is a big thing in our industry, and I think it's only going to grow from here.
Yeah, and one of the core goals of blockchain is about empowering the edges. And it's kind of funny to think of a Fortune 250 company as being on the edges, but in many cases, the way the legacy economy is working, that happens. Whether you're Dish or a small business, in some cases, you're at the mercy of the legacy banking system. You're at the mercy of a lot of older regulations and older legacy business models or monopolies or other things that you just have to accept as a fact of life. And this becomes an enormous cost center and ultimately deteriorates the quality of the product and reduces the overall profitability of the enterprise. So the same types of things we're trying to do to transform the life of someone in Senegal or Ethiopia or Tanzania, Zanzibar, at the very individual level, the farmer, the small business owner, the university graduate, we actually try to do to transform the institution, the business. And we're really excited about how can blockchain technology be used for a client like Dish to actually allow them to take back some of their autonomy and power.
So that kind of sets it up for what it actually could be and what they're trying to do. So really, when we're going to get into it, we're going to start to talk more about digital IDs and how, and what Charles talked about there is like the old world thinking and how everything's kind of fragmented and how they plan to like keep it under one umbrella. So the next thing that he's going to talk about, I think it's a good point. It's one of my criticisms I've had for Cardano for quite some time, is that they move pretty slow. And they move pretty slow, and that's okay because we don't want to have them break too many things. And but now that things are have been built, there's a solid foundation. Now it's time to really pick up the pace. And what Charles talks about here is that his feet are actually being held to the fire by these big companies that are coming in, such as Dish and Boost. Just take a listen.
And we've thought about identity very differently as a consequence. And it's forced us as a company to actually really put the consumer front center. We're so obsessed with writing scientific papers and all this formal methods code and these things. Sometimes you can forget that there's actual human beings at the other side of it. And what I love about working with Chris and Steve is that they always remind us of that. Like, what's the product? What's the vision? What's the consumer experience? How is this going to benefit the consumer, and so forth? And also, how do we get this to market quickly? Not 5 years, not 10 years, but how can we iterate and get it in now, and where can that happen?
And that's the big thing. Like, look, Cardano, they have no shortage of brain power over there, and they take a lot longer to do things. But now that, again, like they have everything built, now it's time to really, this is where the rubber meets the road, and really need to start pushing out things. So I'm glad they partnered up with a group, with a Fortune 250 company that says, look, this is great, but now let's start producing, let's start moving, let's start having some action. And this, I think, is where things start to accelerate. So there's that part. But then the next question really comes down to, like, why telecommunications? Why pick a mobile phone provider? It doesn't make much sense. So just take a listen.
Stephen? Yeah, and it's not just the technology that's been impressive about Charles and team, yourself included. It's the focus on the consumer. When we kind of came in and took over Boost a year ago, it was really looking at the telecom space from a different perspective. Right now, if you look at the consumer wireless customer, they're bombarded with, I've got the fastest network and I'm $5 cheaper. And that's the messaging. Charles and team kind of share the same sort of view as us. We kind of look at it at how can we really deliver a deeper value to the consumer? How can we connect the consumer across a broader set of services, a more lubricated way? How can we bring new digital services to the consumer? How can we actually give an underserved, underbanked population access to banking services, cryptocurrency? You know, Bitcoin is the #2 most searched term on Google right now, yet if you look at the actual data, there's still under 15% that actually have ever even opened.
So yeah, that was one of the heads of Dish and Boost Mobile, and he pretty much just lays it out right there. He's like, look, We need to do this thing so we can actually, we're all the same thing as far as telecommunications go. Okay, we can only give them so much discounts. We can only say that we're the fastest 5G network. What's the next step? And this is where it's going to bring them in, because Boost Mobile, I believe, is losing out to like a Verizon and those bigger types of players. So they need to figure out like what is the next step. And this, I think, is the next step. And if you notice one thing that he said there, he said it's about bringing these telecommunications, these services to industrial nations or to emerging nations. So when we talk about like with Boost Mobile is pretty much focused on first world countries, big types of players and whatnot. And later on, they talk about World Mobile Token, which is one of the ones that I'm an ambassador with. And I can tell you again, if we go back to that link or take a look at the actual global wealth pyramid, Cardano was going for everything in the telecommunications sector. And then you just heard the other gentleman from Cardano talk about we're trying to bridge the gap between Africa and other first world countries as far as it goes for like finance. So again, taking everything, and of course, again, Cardano is also with a lot of the first world countries, really just going for everything. So even if you don't hit everybody up here in the top 1%, or the 10% and 30%, let's just say like you're down here and you get like, you have 6.2 trillion. Let's just say you get, I don't know, 50% of that. That's pretty good. 3 trillion, not too bad, nothing to sneeze at. As you connect to everybody else, you do well and do good. So again, I think it's a pretty great plan. So then lastly, just to finish up, the big question to me is like, how do digital IDs, what is it and how does it all fit in? Because it doesn't make much sense. Okay, so we have cryptocurrency, we have digital assets, we have it on the phone. What do I do with that besides make payments? Because that's the only thing I've really, have really thought about for the longest of time. So take a listen to what digital IDs can do and how it plays into the whole ecosystem.
All right, Charles?
Yeah, it's identity is such a fundamentally human thing, and it's amazing that we haven't, as a collective global society, figured out this problem yet. We have passports, we have driver's licenses, we have paper identity, we have some notions of digital identity, but right now digital identity is a very fragmented affair. Your digital identity you use to register to vote is distinctly different than how you manage your medical records, from how you manage your personally identifiable information with regulated financial institutions. And even the people you would think would get it right about safety, security, privacy, have gotten it horrifically wrong. I think one of the biggest moments in US history was the OPM hack, the Office of Personnel Management. There, you have a database that contains the names and information of all the people who applied for and got security clearances. So our spies, our generals, our military, deeply personal information about them, their relationships, other things, held by a very secret government agency. It gets hacked and 22 million files have been lost since the 1970s. If that kind of agency has difficulty keeping data secure, it's unrealistic to assume that Fortune 500 small businesses, individuals are going to be able to do that in the old paradigm. So you need to change the paradigm a little bit and push power to the edges and put the consumer front and center with their digital life.
So there's a lot to unpack there, but think of it this way. Let's just say, well, let me back up. How many times have you gotten a letter, an email, a notification that your personal information has been hacked? So let's just say, whatever else it is, on all the different platforms, social media platforms, financial platforms that just say, oh, sorry, we got hacked and that's what it is. Not that it's like everybody's fault. I'm just saying, how many times has that happened? It's like a commonplace type of thing. So the reason is because your data is held in a very centralized place. It's in one computer or a group of computers that can be hacked quite easily. Now, take that to a decentralized identification. Your identification doesn't live in one computer. It doesn't live in 10 computers. Let's just say it lives in multiple networks that to actually be able to hack, you would have to hack the entire network to get that data. So it's like you have to hack one computer or 10 computers. You have to hack, well, 51% of them or more to actually get the information out of that entire network. So that is just one thing like, well, that would be pretty great. And then on top of that, like think about things for voting. How good would that be? Voter suppression, all those things. We actually vote in this way. We can take back the ID that we actually have. And then if you think about like other ways in which we can do things, it actually makes a lot of sense. And then think of it also this way. if you have your digital ID in one place, then you have your dApps also coming in. So then everything that you want is in one decentralized place, and then dApps can come into and just kind of work with it, like what's being done with Dish, like what's being done with Boost. It reminds me a lot of what Amazon did as far as e-commerce. Instead of going to multiple e-commerce places, everybody just goes to one hub, and they say, okay, here's Amazon. I just want to shop there. I want a toothbrush, I want a sofa, and I want a tire. And I want all those things, and I'm only in one place, very simple. Instead of going to 3 different places, I just go right here. And it's very simple, and it's very easy. And guess what? It's very cheap to do. It's a lot cheaper than going to a lot of places. So let that kind of sink in about what they're doing, which leads me to my next point, and it talks about 20 million new customers. And this is the website that they're talking about. As far as digital IDs, this is a Taliprism. Powering the trust economy. I'm just going to go over a couple points. This video is going a little long. So if you look at it in 3 different ways, as far as a digital ID, you got it for businesses, governments, and the individual. I think right now, if we're kind of looking at what does this do for us, as an individual, you become the sole owner of your ID. You're in charge of your data. You can manage who can access your data. No more third parties snooping around. Store all your important credentials like ID, licenses, or qualifications in one place. Instantly access a variety of services. No more forms, passwords, or hacks or wasted time. Now, if you're, let's say you're a business, you can instantly onboard and authenticate your customers, reusable KYC credentials. And if you're a government, a verified digital identity for everyone, it means a significant reduction in fraud against all parties. So if you kind of see where things are going and where Cardano is trying to do things, well, it kind of makes a lot of sense. Is they're trying to get this whole darn pyramid. And this leads me to my last point. I'm going to link this website at the very end. There's this cool little interactive city map. And when you do this and you launch it, you can actually go through all those different things we talked about as far as like an individual, as far as like a government, as far as like a business. And you can go and see like how it all works in a an interactive type of way. And underneath here, it says, get your ID. No, that's not it. To go over here, let me go out of here. Right here, where it says download the App Store, when I click on that, it's going to bring me into the App Store itself. Let me build this up so you can see it. And guess what? Here's the Taliprism app, just ready and ready to go. You can just click on get your, and I will start to install that. Let me jump ahead. And as it's going, own and share your data, connect to an organization to receive your credentials. That's pretty good. You can reset your data, government ID, university degree, proof of employment, health insurance, all that good stuff. Backup accounts, credentials, decentralization. Pretty cool. Let's click on open. Like to access the camera? Sure. The app needs the camera to scan the QR codes. Okay. Get started. Create account. I accept. I'll leave those later. Now it's going to say your seed phrase. I blocked it out, obviously, but this is where you're going to write that into your Stonebook or whatever else. Keep that safe because that is your entire ID right there. Great. And I verified the account just by putting a couple of seed phrases, or the two of them, and then that's it. So continue. Continue. You're going to scan QR code. So right here where it says scan QR code, which means this is what it wants. It wants the QR code. Let me get this out of here. From here. And again, this is just to show you how it all works out. You don't have to do this. This is, you're pretty much done right there. But let's see. So to get your ID, connect with the government to obtain your government ID, which is, this is just for funsies. Open a Taliprism, go to the notifications button, and tap this QR code. So scan QR code. And as I scan that, this comes up. Metropolitan City Government. Okay, confirm. And there it is, Metropolitan City Government. So then as time goes on and credentials are available in this way, we click credentials, government ID, that's Joe Wong. That's the, of course, that's the one from this make-believe world, Joe Wong. Full name, date of birth, ID number, expiration dates, and everything that is right there. And you can save that or send that to anybody, and you can work in a decentralized way. And what's great about this is that you don't have to give up anything if you don't want to. Now, I think there's always going to be human error, but that is a Taliprism really in a nutshell, and how you can do things. And then when I take a look at it, I think to myself, okay, well, where is this really all going to go? If I take a look, let me get out of here. And you're welcome to play with all this stuff right here. Let me see. Let me get out of this. Click continue, because I did that. You can do your, oh, this is pretty cool. You can do your university degree, get your degree. Oh, this is what it is. And then I'm going to scan that. Let me put this on. QR code. Let me get my degree. There it is. Confirm. And again, oh, and then you can share the following information to process. So you can share it with the government ID, share it with them. Successfully done. Ah, I get it. I get it. And you can just go back and forth. And then there's your degree. Joe Wong, Bachelor of Science, blah, blah, blah. Let's do the next one. This is pretty fun, actually. Get out of here. Let's do proof of employment. Oh, I did this. Continue. Proof of employment. Apply now. Again with the thingy. QR code. Let me bring this up. Bop, bop. Confirm. Decentralized ink. That's funny. And then, share the following information to process your credentials. So like, yeah, so you want a job. Here's my ID. Here's my university degree, because I'm getting a job, whatever it is. Share. And done. And you share right there. Congrats. You now receive your proof of employment. And then continue. Oh, this ought to be good. Let's try health insurance. Health insurance. Let's sign up for that. Again with the QR code. And then here, scan that, confirm. Let's see. Oops. Okay. And then of course what's your insurance going to usually ask for? ID and proof of employment. Go. Done. Congrats. You have all the credentials. Blah, blah, blah. If you want to go through the experience more than once, da, 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 da. All right. And that's it for that section. And then, yeah, it's pretty cool. So that's how it works pretty much in a nutshell. And then lastly, I will just say this, like for all the different things that you can potentially do this with, as far as like use cases, just check this out. Here it is in a nutshell. Education, IDs, degrees, certificates, transcripts, government. You got civic records, licenses, records, awards. For your health, license, certificates, health records, vaccinations, prescriptions. I know some people don't like that, but whatever. And then enterprise, job references, certificates, awards, loyalty programs, and invoices. And you have it all right there. So look, I know that was a little bit longer than what we're used to, but there's a lot of information here. A lot of things are going on with Cardano. So that is it for today. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. Links will be in the description below. And that's it. So thanks so much. I appreciate it. See you in the next one.